here, and today we've got a bit of an insect. This is the MJX Bugs 3 Mini. It is the mini form of the Bugs 3. It is a really striking drone. To the front we have a super bright white LED. We have LEDs under each of the propeller arms. This is brushless motors with these really quite strong propellers on them. These landing sprigs are directly mounted onto the bottom of the propeller arms with a tiny gap just for a little bit of air to get through to make sure the motors can breathe. And the battery itself clicks in. This isn't a button configuration, so once you plug it in, the quadcopter does come on. And this is it. It's really nice. It comes in at it comes under 250 grams at 183, I think, 184. It is really nice. It feels a little bit plasticky. It doesn't feel as nice as what I think some of the other Bugs have, like the Bug 6, which is so far my favourite Bugs model to date. So with this, folks, we're going to take her up, try her in the 2-speed modes, and just have a whale of a time flying her. So with that, my friends, let's get her calibrated. Alright, so here we have it. So we're just going to plug this in. Comes on straight away. Let's move these antennas out of the way. Let's turn on the transmitter, and now we are all bound and ready to go straight away. Now what I did forget to do actually was hold down on the unlock button and then turn her on, and then single one up and one down to bind, and now we should be all good and ready to go. So this is in angle mode for this particular flight. We're going to use the 2-speed modes here, low and high. We're going to take her up, we're going to have a little look and see exactly how she does. I think she's going to be really good, but the only way we're going to know that is by testing it. So just before we take her up, let's calibrate those gyros. So bring these both down into the bottom right corner, and then as you'll notice, the LEDs start to flash. When they have stopped flashing, we're all calibrated and we're ready to fly. So with this, friends, let's take her up. And up she goes. Now, one thing I do like about the Bugs range, and one thing I do really appreciate with these guys, is that they have really easy to use takeoff techniques. Click the padlock once and she takes off. And that in itself is brilliant. There's none of this hold down this button, calibrate this way, and then do this until the quadcopter does XYZ. It is just take her up, click the button, calibrate her, sorry, then click the button and you're away to go. Now, as you can see, there's no altitude hold. I was dropping her there on purpose just so you could see exactly what is going on with the quadcopter. So when you bring this analog, the throttle stick down to about 30%, the motors do cut out. This is in speed mode 1. A lovely little flyer. A lovely little flyer so far. Those brushless motors. With brushless, people automatically think speed, and yes, brushless does give you speed, and normally does give you a lot of speed, but it also gives you stability, and that is something that you really can't live without when you're flying these guys. You really can't. I've flown some quadcopters and I've thought, oh my god, this is really unsafe, but this isn't. This is just wonderful. And the thing is about them as well is they climb altitude quick. They lower in altitude quick as well. They are just all round good copters. Okay, not saying every single Bugs is good. I've not flown every single Bug, so I can't pass judgment on every single one. But what I can do is I can say the ones I have flown are extremely good. And they circle around, they bank without there being any issue. I mean, look at that. Beautiful turning. Bring it back around. If you wanted then to just perform a couple of flips, a couple of turns, then you could marry them all together without there being any issue. Increase altitude, drop altitude. Okay, so let's have a quick little look. So I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, well, what happens on the punch, JD, with this? Because I'm feathering that throttle, I'm having her up, I'm having her down, I'm having her everywhere, just to see exactly how quick she writes before she hits the deck, and it is insanely fast. So let's give this a bit of a punch. So we do have a 6-mile-an-hour breeze coming from my left and heading over to the right of the field. So with this, folks, let's punch her in 3, 2, 1, up. Oh, not the most powerful at all. But at the same time, this doesn't need to be the most powerful because it is just a good copter. Now this is in low speed, don't forget. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crank her up into high which is a little bit annoying that you've got to take your hands off the throttle in order to do that. And now in high mode, we do have a much wider area of attack. When you hold down and you give a total pitch, 100% open pitch, then that quadcopter does really dip, and it dips very, very quickly as well. Look at her go! Okay, let's try a punch like this then, and let's see exactly how she does on throttle punch on high mode. On low mode, well, it's not great, it wasn't terrible. Okay, let's bring it down a little bit more. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. About the same. Okay, that's no problem. It's good to know what you've got. And this is a fun little guy, is what this is. And I do like him. I like him a lot, and because he comes in at that under the 250 gram limit as well, it's going to open it up to a lot of new flyers that maybe the Bugs 2 or the Bugs 6 or the Bugs 3 didn't, which is good. And you get, I think personally, you get as good flight out of this as the 6, just in a smaller package, and that is great because the Bug 6 is absolutely terrific, really is. Such a great quad. But we're not here to talk about the 6, we're here to talk about the 3 Mini. Right, let's keep her out at 100% open pitch, and let's move her around. How well does she move around at 100% open pitch? Very well. Very well indeed. Look at her go. Bit more throttle there, dipped a little bit too low. Keeping that pitch open. That white LED on the front of the quadcopter really standing out. Really standing out. The blue LEDs on the back don't stand out until you come very close, same as the white LEDs on the front of the propeller arms, but the overall white LED at the front of the quadcopter is very bright, and I can see that without any issue at all, and that is good, because not being able to see the quadcopter propeller arm LEDs is one thing if you've got another light for orientation purposes, and that's exactly, if I was to hazard a guess, why this LED is on the front. It is exactly for that, for orientation purposes, so we know exactly where we're going. Because learning to fly quadcopters is a bit of an annoyance when you first get going, but being able to know exactly where your orientation lies is most definitely a bonus, and does help you in learning to fly as well. Oh, and it's lovely. And this is still in high mode, I haven't changed it down. Bank her a little bit over to me for those tight turns. That's something that she can do. Bank her, oh yes. Hear the wind hitting those propellers as she turns, as her angle alters. Beautiful. Oh yes. Okay, I've waited a month and a half for this particular drone to be delivered, and you know what? Oh, it was worth it. That it makes all the difference when you get a drone and you fly it and you think, oh wow, you know what? It's absolutely terrible if you waited 2 months for it. But if you've waited for this long, a month and a half, and if you get a good drone, then do you know what? It makes all the difference. It really does. Oh yes. And she is extremely steady, extremely sturdy as well in air. She doesn't give me any cause for concern in air at all. There's a lot of times where you bank, you turn, you do this, you do that. See, you're just throwing her around left, right and centre, and sometimes the drone doesn't pick up on every single manoeuvre, and it's a little bit stale, but it's not with this guy. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring him down for a little minute. Let's see if I put him into low mode. Let's bring him down, and then let's get a camera attached to him and see how well he does with a 41 gram Runcam 2 attached to him. So for this, because all this grass is extremely tall, apart from in my particular area, I'm going to bring him down in my area here. Okay, and then click and hold on the padlock, and then you hear that beep, and now you can return to the quadcopter safely. Right. Let's get a little camera on the bottom of this and see how well he does. Now obviously as I'm in speed mode 1, what you're going to find is when I attach the camera, it might need a full throttle adjustment, open throttle adjustment, in order for him to take off. Possibly. I don't know. Let's see if we can even get the camera on him first. I don't want to be saying, oh, we're going to be doing this and we're going to be doing that, if we can't actually get the camera on him. So, oh, it's a bit of a tight fit. Let's get creative. Right, let's loop this through here. Let's stick that down to there. Alright, do you know what? I've had a few people say to me, these straps, you put a lot of trust in Velcro. Yes, I do. If it's good enough for NASA and for whoever else uses this, for NASA to go to space, then it's good enough for me to hold a little quadcopter onto a little camera onto a quadcopter. Absolutely is. Right. Now then, question is, folks, is that tight enough, or do I need to go tighter with it? I think if I'm asking myself that question, then I need to go tighter with it. There we go, perfect. So this is the assembly that we've got now, see? So okay, it's not gonna, the landing sprigs aren't gonna be on the floor, but it's okay because we've got a little camera there that will take up a little bit of the slack there. Okay, so here's what you have. We have the run cam on the bottom of this particular drone now. This is in speed mode 1, should be okay, shouldn't have any problems. It isn't having any issues, it took off, it was fine. If anything, I was a little bit too relaxed on the throttle than what I normally would be. But again, these quadcopters astound me. Okay, it's only 41 grams, but when you consider these are balanced, these have the exact dimensions and these have the exact weights that will give them lift and ensure they stay in the air. And then I've come along and gone, oh, that's the battery. I've come along and gone, no, I don't want that, let's whack another thing on you. Oh, this beep is very loud, but it's good because it notifies you of exactly what's going on. Now I wonder whether she'll do any 3D flips while I'm like this. Now she only flips forward and she's not doing any flips at all. No, nothing. Okay, that's no problem. Right then, we've got a bit of FPV. Let's bring her down. Let's click and hold. There we go, we're done. That's fine. Right then. Now this is the hard bit I talked about in the unboxing. You've got to hold that down. Come on. Hold that down and then... Oh. Come on, mate. Seriously? There we go. My God, that is the most, out of everything, all the technology they've put in this, out of all the thinking, the design, the refinements, everything to do with this particular quadcopter, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. Rant over. Okay, so there we go. What have we got? We have the Bugs 3 Mini. Honestly, folks, I loved it. I really did. If you couldn't tell, come on. It's just such a great, great little drone. Look at the size of it. It quite literally almost fits in the palm of your hand. It's brushless, it flies very well, 2 speed modes, it moves, it's extremely agile, it lifts a GoPro, you know, in speed mode 1 as well. This wasn't in high mode, this is in low mode. Out of everything, it works really, really well. Honestly, I think this is, if they were to make mini bugs of every single bugs they've ever made, then do you know what? I'd be buying them. Absolutely, hands down. So there we are, folks. I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you ever so much for watching and listening. I've been JD. You've been fantastic as always. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Hello and welcome to all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the channel. So until next time, my friends, happy flying.